First map about to be underway. It's Overpass. And while Ancient going to be starting over on that T side, this is their map pick. So Aristocracy here in the pistol round, setting up early with a 4-man B hold, and they've sent 1-man Rallen to go and peek mid. He didn't spot anyone, so they will keep this 4-man hold inside of the B bomb site for now.
Dika strikes first, able to find Plopsky, taking him out. And now Ancient going to be stacked up on the inside of Connector, working their way upstairs, probably into the A site. Aristocracy already seems to have an idea that this is a possibility. They're rotating 2 players back from B, putting more and more presence on A. So they've got a great read on this, and Ancient, it's going to be rough on this push here. There's already a lot of defenses set up in the site. And here we go. Manise picking up the first, Malz with the second. The rest of the team struggling to push forward as well.
Oh, and it's just a cleanup. Aristocracy, a clean as ever pistol round. All 5 players staying alive. And you know, even in spite of that heavy B stack at the start of the round, very, very quick in those rotations, very assuring in those rotations to come through. And they will mop up that round very quickly on the back of it. So they get off to a good start here on the CT side of Ancient's map pick. Looking now to grab this early lead, and Ancient, they will just bow out and take the eco in this round here. We've seen a lot of teams elect to go for these second round force buys. Ancient, they've been more of a fan of, you know, playing it safe, playing it by the numbers. And, you know, with no bomb plant found in that round, I can't say I blame them here. They will try and meander their way out through mid, but Rallen sits nearby over in the connector. He is getting sandwiched, however. That bomb's moving in behind him, so he could find himself in a bit of danger any second now.
Rallen going to be moving forward, trying to chase down the second kill. He's going to come very close to getting it, but he runs out of ammo before he can actually put it together. So Manise instead is going to have to find the impact. He's been able to drop the bomb, picks up 2 more kills. So the trade still very much favoring Aristocracy at this point, but a lot of damage being done for a pretty minimal investment in the grand scheme of things from Ancient.
Yeah, because this was just pistols right across the board. Yep. So the fact that Draken's been allowed to grab himself this AUG, he could still look to do a lot more damage on the back of this one, but thankfully, Taz does swoop in and save the day, and now just Rusty with this MP9. Definitely not the weapon of choice that you'd want in the 1v3, no armor either. Doesn't even have to worry about aim punch, thankfully, because he's dead in 1 shot, and he'll get found very, very quickly. Aristocracy, they're able to get a leash back on Ancient in that round. They don't let those scavenged weapons find any more damage within the ranks. And now we have that looming bite for the Swedes. Don't think we're going to get to see the AWP over on Draken, however. And that was kind of something yesterday that was very interesting to see was, you know, Draken, if you think back to kind of Nuke and Train, there was a lot of times where we didn't see them have the money to have him on that AWP. And I just feel like with him, there's such a big disparity between when you have him on the rifle and when you have that AWP in that man's hand. Not going to be one on the other side of the table, though. And Aristocracy, look at this. They're already out in mid. They've gone very aggressive in this round, and they've got a major foothold here for it.
Malz, meanwhile, took a battle closer to Monster and nearly lost it. Went all the way down to 25 HP versus Disco Doppelin. Dika definitely saw the head. At least one player here. I think it's Draken peeking out towards the fountain area. He's going to try to relocate. That's not the best timing on this. He's going to end up being caught, or at the very minimum, forced to fall back. It's actually Freddy B that's caught, as we see both Rallen and Dika going down in trades just a few seconds after that. A 4v3 is now where we're going to sit at. Again, Ancient having this massive amount of map control to build off of in the process, too.
Yeah, but Aristocracy, they've actually got 3 players up here towards A right now. Manise, he might uncover the terrible truth that lies ahead over here in the toilets, but Rusty, we'll catch him looking away, and this now sees Ancient not only with this 2-man advantage, but they've got quite the foothold over in toilets. No one nearby to challenge, and they don't even have to commit to this A bomb site. We can already see they're starting to back away with that bomb down through Connector. Looks like they're going to leave Draken and Plopsky behind to keep the attention of Aristocracy here at this A bomb site.
Way too aggressive in the early round, though, from Aristocracy, and now it's cost them, putting them into this 2v4 scenario, which they've misread, unfortunately. Had the right read on it as of a few seconds ago, but as you were mentioning, Ancient just rotate away from it, work their way down into B, where they're going to get a free plant and leave Malz and Taz with really not a whole lot they can do. They don't have any utility. They don't have any post-plant intel onto the 4 remaining members of Ancient, so it's not even worth it to go for this. They both have AUGs. They're just going to fall back and save, as that's the best option for them at this point. They have to pay for their aggression by just giving Ancient the round, and a clean one at that, with 4 players standing tall.
Yeah, but it's already a great sign of life, right, from this Swedish squad. Obviously, coming into their first buy round, they're able to pick it up almost immediately. The second we see those rifles come out, they find success on the back of it. And they also do a great job of shutting down that attempted mid-aggression from Aristocracy, right? It's not like we've really seen that from this squad just yet. Even thinking back to the game versus Avantgarde, the aggression down through mid wasn't really something that we saw the Polish squad do all that much. So Ancient, they do a good job of adjusting to that and actually using it to their advantage. They're able to keep the majority of players alive as well. So kind of issues I was alluding to at the start of this game where we didn't really have the economy there yesterday for Draken all the time to bring that AWP out. That's something that now Ancient can look to build upon and look to bring out in the coming round.
So we're going to see Ancient building up once again. They work their way into this round. Aristocracy in the meanwhile still has enough money to buy into this one, mainly just for rifles, though. You look at the utility and you'll see it's actually going to be pretty weak across the board for them. Just a single smoke after any initial toss-outs and just flashes beyond that. So they'll have to be very mindful of any quick attempts for Ancient to take control. They're going to have a lot of freedom to play around with this map after the first few seconds.
Yeah, they're just holding this early default right now. I mean, they were rewarded, right, for being so patient in the round prior, so you definitely understand why they have just kind of pumped the brakes here in this round. Also, it's a very important one, right? The money from Aristocracy has been fully invested into this round, so you know, you pick this up if you're Ancient, it does kind of become almost a 2-for-1. There's no cash left in the Polish bank accounts next round. And another thing to note, Ralin doesn't even have armor behind this AUG, so he's going to have aim punch playing into this round in full effect. And versus the might of these AKs, that can be a pretty terrifying spot to be in. They try and assemble this little boost on over. They might be able to spot a player down in the pit, depending on how they move around. No one playing that barrels position that the boost is for. 30 seconds left on the clock here at Ancient. They haven't seen anyone yet. They're fully grouped up outside of this B bomb site with the exception of Rusty, or Draken, who's still trying to sell this fake. Rusty will find the opener, and now this play about to come in. Mao's the only man here to try and hold them at bay, and he will get the first. It now falls onto the shoulders of Taz.
Taz is going to be trying to pick off one, but unable to get it. It's now a 2v3. A lot of damage has been done to Ancient in the meanwhile. But still, a disadvantage that Aristocracy have to play into, and Taz doesn't have any time to waste. Works his way onto the site. He's actually going to creep all the way through into water. He's missed his chance to find a pick, but the problem is Ralin is immediately cut off by Draken due to a flank up on A. Taz now in a very awkward position as he has to rotate back into the site. And again, he's lost the intel. He no longer has that easy kill against Rusty. Just not really hope for him anymore.
But they cleared the A bomb site, and they also cleared short. I don't think they know Taz is here. Is he going to try and go for that ninja defuse? No, he just gets the kill. I honestly think he could have got away for it. That's the craziest thing, right? If he just went for that there might have been a chance. He does a great job of holding onto the AUG regardless. Oh, I mean, that still got very, very dicey. Like, Taz, I don't think he realizes just how much he threaded the needle in that kind of 1v3, you know, bypassing two players in that smoke, dodging the flank from A. Maybe with a bit more information, we could have seen that be a bit more spicy, but not to be. And this is going to get tied up nice and early on, 2-2. As mentioned in that previous round, now the economy of Aristocracy is just in the dumpster. Just that one saved gun over on the back of Taz that they really have to work with in this round. And we can already see they're electing to try and have him challenge with it over in mid. Now, no one's nearby to retrieve this weapon if Taz goes down. So if he falls, they've lost the AUG.
Aristocracy did a good job of adjusting, though, in the previous round. They realized the aggression was too much of an issue for them, and so they pulled it back. Now they're going to bring it back in because they've got nothing to lose in this round. Taz will be able to drop the bomb initially. It does fall to Rusty a moment later, giving Ancient back the control they need. And from this point forward, the round should be pretty simple for Ancient. Disco Duplin finds Manise, and that's going to open up the long angle onto B. Don't really have much of a threat coming at them from anyone else on Aristocracy besides that. Long angle on A is also wide open for the taking right now, so Ancient's got pretty much freedom of choice in terms of where they want to take this bomb.
Yeah, I mean, they're just not letting these pistols do anything. And I mean, yeah, I think Ancient are doing a great job of just being very, very patient, right? They've kind of realized that Aristocracy are pretty keen on taking these early fights. And so Ancient, they've just been biding their time, and they've been reaping the rewards of exactly that in this round. I mean, it's just the P250 over on Maus that could really look to do anything. And even then, the bombs completely dodged them. It's down inside of B. It will go down. Ancient are going to be picking this up all day long. There's just no way that Aristocracy can win this. It will be that 3-2 lead. And also, I mean, the fact that you lose Draken in that round, of all the players to lose, not really the end of the world, right? He's got enough money to get his AWP out in this round, so that's likely what we're going to see in this coming round, and that's what I've kind of been waiting for. There won't be one once again over on the side of Aristocracy, however, so...
A few of the players moving in, trying to retrieve that AUG so they at least get something out of this round, but Rusty's right on top of it, making sure that that doesn't happen. Miles the only one left that's going to be able to find any type of impact. He's under the P250. Tries to line up a shot on Rusty. Won't find it. Rusty gets the better of him. Complete wipe of the Aristocracy roster. And like you said, Draken, him being the only one to go down, he's got plenty of money left over, so the rebuy is not going to be a problem for him at all. Ancient take the lead at 3-2. Aristocracy still trying to figure out how exactly they want to play this DT side. They tried one gun round by getting aggressive, one gun round by getting passive. Neither have worked, although they had a lot better success by trying to play passive on the B sites. Just couldn't trade out pound for pound with Ancient when the take came, mainly due to a lack of utility.
Another change here from Aristocracy and how they want to approach this round, this time with a 3-man hold over at long, and this might be the perfect time to bring this out. Not something they've done before, and Ancient, they go running into the meat grinder, into the crossfire that's set up here at long. Flash is now raining in over the top. That smoke will conceal Manise and allow him to move forward. That was actually thrown down by Ancient to allow them to try and grab this bomb, but it's actually provided the perfect veil for Manise to move behind it. Now setting up close on the angle. How much longer does he want to stick around? Because they've got themselves this 4-on-3. They might have the bomb under their control, but there's one man, Plopsky, here, who's got very deep within the A bomb site. If any players get caught in rotation up from B, I'll see the man advantage stripped away from Aristocracy, and it also then leaves this flank open in through long. You can see this rotation up is very, very slow because they've got so many angles to check, and this round now really does look like it could fall apart for Aristocracy.
Two players getting picked. Manise, the most notable out of that, as it does give the bomb back over to the control of Ancient. They're going to shuffle down to the B site, but Dika, with a position on the inside of water, still has a chance to stop this if he can cut off the bomb carrier before he gets to the B site. He's going to be really the last hope. If he finds the frags here, he needs to stay alive too. That's the other key part of this. If he goes down, Rowland's not going to be left with any opportunity to stop this. Oh, what a great play from Ancient. Plopsky, realizing this was a possibility, moves in to cut off Dika. And now Rowland's going to sit alone in the 1v2. Plant going onto the ground. It's far too late for him to stop that. And even getting back onto this site, it's going to be so difficult for him. It's giving them so much time in post-plant. Draken's going to be given the duel to win right there. Misses the shot, however. But flash out against Rowland. He's going to have pressure working his way in for Monster. He'll try to smoke out Draken. And it should work pretty well, but there's the push from Plopsky at Monster. And the secure of round number 4 for Ancient.
Yeah, and 3 kills for Plopsky in that round there. His first 3 of the game as well. And I mean, you know, yesterday he was one of the real kind of driving forces behind Ancient in that comeback versus Crazy. He was one of the players topping those charts for this squad. And it's good that we are now kind of seeing him find his footing as well. Once again, no money left for the Poles and a chance for Ancient just to continue building upon this lead since getting onto the rifles. They're yet to drop a single round. I mean, you know, coming into the whole event, I was really kind of leading in favor of Aristocracy, but the more I've reflected on it, the more I've been thinking, you look at Ancient's path throughout this event, and it hasn't been an easy one, right? They had to play versus Optic, they had to play 2 matches versus Crazy. They have had a pretty tough time of things. Actually, this round's gotten pretty close, so maybe I'll move away from that and take a look at this. Yeah, I'll bite my tongue. It's a 3-on-3. Somehow, some way, Aristocracy, they've made this round into at least a doable situation.
See Ancient still taking their time with the lead up here. It's primarily going to be a push from the bathrooms. Diha going to have to be one of the few players that will try to stop this, but he's out. Still solo focused on B right now because they haven't confirmed the push is working its way to the upper site. Taz going to take some heat as a result of this as he doesn't have the support. Originally, they were pushing Rowland to flank from the bathroom connector, but he's not really going to have that opportunity anymore. He's had to pull back, and in a moment here, he's going to have to try and flank in from the long angle. Plopsky will finish Taz off. Dika arrives just in time to take his place, but it's not going to matter. Freddie B wipes him off the face of the earth. Rowland against the world now. Stops the plant. There's the first one. That's the easy pickup. Now the next 2 are going to be a little bit more difficult.
And now they know he's here, and that's Freddie B will very, very quickly shut him down. So, I mean, it gets close, Blue. You know, we were getting worried, we were getting nervous for Ancient. They're able to get a handle back on that round. And I mean, yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Rollin, he gets the easy kill, the free kill, but the second they know where he is, you are in for a world of hurt there with just the deke. If you miss that first shot, you're going down. And so Ancient, they are able to dodge what would have been a very devastating loss in that round there. They keep 2 players alive. Don't think they were able to hold on to the AWP, however, so always something to bear in mind. And actually a tactical pause called in for Aristocracy. I find that usually throughout these, you do see Taz does a hell of a lot of the talking. He is kind of like, the dad of this team, right? The veteran of the Polish scene. So he's going to have some time to mold this one over with the rest of the squad, try and figure out a solution to these problems, because Ancient, this is looking like a very one-sided map right now.
Yeah, and Ancient are having a really hard time of figuring out the right attitude to express against, or excuse me, Aristocracy is having a hard time figuring out the right attitude to express against Ancient. They've tried aggression, they've tried more passive play. Neither really seem to be working too well. Pound for pound, Ancient is just doing a much better job of winning out in these duels and also doing a good job of kind of keeping Aristocracy on their toes. This is despite the fact as well that Aristocracy has almost not a whole lot of history on this map, at least in an official capacity. So you would think they'd be able to hide their strats a little bit more here and throw Ancient off, but so far that has not been the case at all. Pika tries to get boosted up on top to spot some intel towards water. It's not really going to be able to do that. The execute works its way in. Pika pressured into the corner, but him and Taz combined, able to evenly trade. It's not going to stay that way for long, though. Ancient still take the edge in a 3v2.
Ooh, Taz ducking in through that smoke, drops the bomb. He always has been a bit of a menace inside of this B bomb site, has Taz. He's still dancing around, still just being a nuisance, and Manish is nearby with that AWP. First time we've seen him really don this AWP over on their CT side as well, so we'll get to see that duel maybe any minute now between Manish and Draken, that standoff between these 2 AWPers. Taz, he knows he's dropped the bomb, so he's just looking to outstay his welcome down here in the pit. Manish is going to get slow peeked by Disco Doppler, and this leaves Draken in the hot seat now. A 1v2 required from the Swedish AWPer. Bomb down, and Taz is still just sat there, eyes fixated on its position. Rotation up into the heavens from Manish, and Draken is not aware of that. That could be enough to shut this whole round down, and indeed it is. Taz and Manish get that job done. And finally, Aristocracy put a stop to the 5-round streak of Ancient.
Yeah, Ancient a bit of ignorance when it comes to Manish right there. I think they would have been able to at least be wary of the fact that he could have rotated down and been a nuisance to trying to get control of this bomb back. But neither player that's left alive there from Ancient on the site really pays mind to him. And as such, he sneaks out 2 easy kills. Taz in the 2v2 barely has to do anything. He just has to sit there, essentially. It's the threat of him that's enough to cause a rift for Ancient, a huge slowdown, and cost them heavily. So they do drop the round. The execute went off pretty well, but Taz's trade along with the hold from him and Pit seems to be enough to close out the round for Aristocracy. Ancient, though, going to start things out well for themselves going into round number 9 as they pick up the opening kill on Pika, and the second following that just a few seconds later on Rallin as well.
Popsky's really roaring to life here in this first map. He's just been the man with the entries, and this round no exception. A quick double down in connector. And Aristocracy back to this all too familiar situation where they sit at a man disadvantage. They just have to try and gamble into which bomb site this is going to be. They've got the defense split and only one man here inside of B. It's Maus alone. They start to pressure him. He's here with the AWP. He's got to make a stand, and a missed shot the second time around. He's now off the angle, and this bomb site has gone the way of the Swedes.
Very minimum has been able to keep his life in check. And now the rotates work their way in, but Draken gets the better of the first. It's now the 2 ops that are all that left standing here for Aristocracy. And they're not too keen on taking this fight. You've already got Mal's falling back. Benice will probably do the same. In fact, he already has in just a moment. Ancient go right back into controlling this matchup now. It's 6-3. And Aristocracy, once again, having to struggle with this economy, kind of trudge it along from round to round. They keep the ops alive. They might be able to force something behind it. But even so, Ancient still controlling the vast majority of these gun rounds.
Yeah, I mean, even if you are able to hold on to both these orbs, yeah, what does it really give you to work with? They can still invest in this round, right? You can have those saving players drop guns over, and then you can actually get 4 rifles. So, you know, it's all in all a pretty decent buy. But I mean, I don't know, it's just kind of very, very worrying to me how strong this initial T side is looking from Ancient. They've been a team that's been like, kind of almost like a team of slow starters, and then they've shown that resilience, they've grinded out a lot of the victories they've managed to get here. I mean, I don't know where this Ancient has come from. Get out of mid! Get out of mid, Manise! He gets naded into oblivion. The artillery rains on in. And already, one of these two saved AWPs has been stripped from the hands of Aristocracy. There's no one nearby to retrieve it. It's Rallen holding close with the Deeg, the only man who might be able to put a stop to this mid play.
Gonna see, gets the nice angle through the smoke, but Plopsky's on the other side of it, snuck right past Rallen and gets the immediate trade. Ancient will stay alive with a +1 man advantage. Most importantly, huge gun advantage in the long term here, as long as they don't give Mouse the angles he needs to play with that up. Rest of Ancient, gonna see them go for a quick push onto the A bomb site. They've got Disco Doppler to cut off the rotate from Beam, and it already happened, so he's actually not gonna be too much use. For the sake of argument, this is a 3v3 on site. It's worked out well to start, though, immediately deleting Taz behind the dice boxes. Leaves only the two back behind Bank and Green Dumpster, and they just do not have a right to initiate here. So, Aristocracy will be pulled back, and this is where Disco Doppler can come into play. Now he's cut out Dika, leaving only Mal's in the equation.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even want to give this a look in. He just wants to hold on to the AWP. I don't even know if he's going to get away with that because they're flanking on round. He knows he's surrounded. I just looking at that minimap, it's terrifying, but he's pretty lucky because they're all migrating away. Ooh, the Swedes. Leaving that A bomb site, leaving B. They think maybe he's elsewhere. So Mouse, he's dodged danger for now. He hasn't fallen into the Mouse trap that Ancient had laid for him. But I mean, holding on to the AWP, second time in a row for Mouse, and staring down the barrel of this very, very one-sided half. Already 7 rounds for Ancient. And I mean, you know, I think T-side Overpass, you know, like 6 rounds is sort of like what you'd kind of want as your minimum. The fact that they're already off to such a great start and there's still so many rounds left to be played in this first half, it is a worrying sign of the times for Aristocracy.
Aristocracy just failing to start in a lot of aspects. Still trying to play relatively aggressive too, which to be fair, it's Overpass. You kind of do need to do that on your CT side, but Aristocracy keep overplaying their hand. They'll pick up one trade and it almost always gets traded, or they'll pick up one kill and it almost always gets traded right back against their favor. Either that, they overextend and take a fight which they can't really win, or at a very minimum, Ancient have multiple players to fight against them, so they just don't have a good chance. That's going to change this time, though. Playground aggression from Diha starts things out well for Aristocracy. So they're able to take out Freddy B, and this time, Diha is able to fall back safely. Doesn't get immediately traded. Taz with some weighted aggression that works out well, too. Unfortunately, he's going to fall. Mal's, though, making up for it. Picking up a double right behind the big pole. Draken keeping things even, though, as he also finds 2.
Yeah, Draken's made this round look very, very doable, and bomb plant in from Plopsky. I mean, if there was any 2 players you would want in this 2v2, it's Plopsky and Draken with how they've been looking at this map. Draken in with his 3rd of the round, the savior that Ancient needed. He's made this one theirs, and now D at 1v2. It's him on the back foot. Has to try and see Mouse's efforts out, but it's not enough. Plopsky will make quick work of him. Ancient up 8-3. And the rounds just keep on growing for this Swedish T side. They are looking terrifying. And I tell you what, one of the things the desk touched upon is, you know, Aristocracy, they kind of spoke about how in interviews, right, like Taz says that he, you know, he's kind of one of these guys who's very, very, kind of like stone cool, right? Like, you know, he always keeps his cool, very level-headed, doesn't let the fact that maybe you're on the back foot get to him, very resilient. The rest of the squad, however, maybe they don't have that experience yet. Maybe they don't have that same ability. And, you know, this is kind of a time more than ever in which we might be seeing that show through, because when you have fallen behind so early on in a game, when you are on the more favored side as well, a map that just yesterday you're able to take, or sorry, on day 1, you're able to take off of Avangard 16-14. And now in the semifinals, when it matters most, it just seems like nothing's really aligning. It's going to be very, very hard to get back into this game for Aristocracy.
So in the meanwhile, you've got Ancient, who's going to start things out relatively slow once again. This is due to the fact that Aristocracy have also pulled back their own aggression. I've been talking about Aristocracy struggles quite a bit here in trying to figure out what type of formula they want to take on this side. They've tried to be aggressive. For the most part, it's failed. They've tried to be passive. Again, hasn't really worked out too well, except in a few fringe rounds that they've been able to win. Disco Dopplin's going to find the first kill of this one by knocking out Mouse, but Freddy B also was almost traded back a few seconds before that. He took a slight long-range duel on the outside of bathrooms. Alan's going to move in to check for intel. Good luck to be able to find Plopsky there, but Rusty trades it back a moment later. So still no real advantage for the guys on Aristocracy to play off of just yet.
They have at least made the right call, though, keeping 2 players inside of this A bomb site. This is where A should look to turn their attention to. With 20 seconds left, they've got to commit to A. D here is going to be pretty far away on the rotation. And with no real time to buy, Ancient just have to barrel into this bomb site. They're going to be taking every fight. Manish trying to deny the bomb, and if he finds it, maybe, but no. Smoke goes down, and that's going to block him off from the bank. He's still challenging, in spite of being only on 11 points of health. Creeping forward, he doesn't want to have this round slip through their fingers, and Diha now arriving to help out. 2v2 once again, it's down to the wire. Disco Doppler and Draken left up, and now Aristocracy tapping the bomb. Someone's got a peek, Diha's on it, and they don't quite get him off in time. They get both the kills, but the round goes the way of the Poles as they snatch that one up with the defuse. However, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's not the end of the world for Ancient, right? Sure, you give up that round when you really didn't need to, but look at what you've done to Aristocracy's money. You find all the kills, you wreck that loss bonus that they've built on up, and this buy is worse than the buy in the previous round for Aristocracy.
So now Aristocracy are going to have to hope that they find much more solid ground to shut this round down on. Just barely coming out in the clutch. They needed the rounds, let's not get it wrong here. Still the much more preferable outcome to losing it there and ending up on a 9-3 scoreline against your opponent's T side. But still, we need consistency from Aristocracy. No more single rounds being picked up and then immediately dropped. And that has been the biggest struggle for them so far, along with trying to figure out the pacing that they should take on the CT side. A little bit more aggressive this time, at least down on towards the B site, as they push out into water. Ancient seem to be aware of this, or wary of it at a minimum. However, Disco is he ready? The gun. It's only going to get him a 1-for-1. Draken, a bit of an awkward position, but it works out well for him. Taz, have to see the switch over to the pistol as Taz finds one more pickup, but he can't escape. It goes down to a 2v1 after a pretty crazy series of trades outside of Monster.
And you can see Rowland trying to walk in and take up the position where all his teammates just perished. As he arrives a little bit late, he won't find anyone from Ancient lurking in the shadows. Both players for Ancient over in Connect are starting to clear over towards this A bomb site. They have a bit of a funny feeling about B, and I can't say I blame them. That 4-man push does allude to the fact that maybe it was a stacked site. Ancient, they will just play it safe, look to try and hit A, and that is the perfect call to make. Rowland is all the way down here at shore. I'm not even sure if he attempts this round if that bomb goes down.
Well, Ancient are going to work their way back into it. Easy plant's going to be found for them over the next few seconds, and Rowland will, of course, hear all this and immediately start to rotate. But like you were saying, it's more the question of whether he attempts this or not. He'll probably at least poke up to the site. If he can get a kill early on here, like if he finds someone in the open, then he'll certainly go for it. But as you guys can see, that is certainly not going to be the case. Ancient take the CT side positions and head into the bank and the back dumpster stairs to hold this. It's even planned on the opposite side of the dice box, so not really a winnable situation here for Rowland unless he pulls out a miracle.
Yeah, I think the realization that may be setting in. He will find the first man, and actually now looking for Plopsky, a chance. It's close, but they know they don't need to face him. They've got the bomb. He gets the kill, but with no kit, the round still goes the way of Ancient. 9-4. They throw a few more bodies at Rowland than perhaps you would have liked. But it is still another round on the tally. A 9-4 half. Potential, I mean, for an 11-4 half still very much on the cards. And I mean, this is already phenomenal from Ancient. Anything else they get is you know, to say a bonus just feels like insulting because these are already bonus rounds. Mm-hmm. Draken as well there does such a phenomenal job to deal with that push. Getting those 2 kills, if he doesn't even if he gets one and then has to fall back or goes down in that situation, suddenly there's so many weapons dropped there for Aristocracy to retrieve. That round could have become very, very scary. So hats off to Draken for stepping up when it matters most. And this round, just a partial investment from Aristocracy. Not really much to work with other than that AUG on Rowland.
Yeah, the only mistake that Rowland in that 1v2 even makes is just approaching it a bit too slowly. If he speeds up that 1v2 a little bit, Ancient made a lot of mistakes. They're splitting it up, trying to isolate that into 2 separate 1v1s, nearly cost them the round. So it's a good thing that Rowland took as long as he did to attempt the clutch, because that could have ended up very, very bad. Aristocracy, though, obviously a bit of an awkward spot economically for this round, as we're going to see them still start off with an opening kill in their favor, taking out Disco Doppler. Rowland as well, this actually gets Rusty walking right into him. So the more passive style from Aristocracy definitely seems to be working out. However, here comes the long take. It's going to have mixed results. Plopsky picks the first. Malz will trade it back.
And I mean, it's once again on the back of these force buys, on the back of these pistols that Aristocracy have got it so close. It's when they have nothing to lose that they seem to look their best. I think it does just come on the back of, knowing that you don't really have much stake in that round anyway. You just group up, safety in numbers. They take that early peek down through short, 3 players able to find one, and then they grab the gun on the back of it, and they just start to kind of recycle these weapons from Ancient and build up a pretty terrifying arsenal in that round. Ancient kind of make that kind of classic mistake where you get in your own head a bit. You're up against the force buy on the other side, so you try and switch things up on the back of losing that first man, and it just looked a bit uncomfortable there for the Swedes. Last round of this first half, and this time connector control attempted for Ancient. They will get it for free. 4 players for Aristocracy stacked up inside of B early on in this round, but we can already see Taz will be rejoining his teammate back in the A-bomb site.
Disco's going to get picked pretty heavily, down to just under half HP. Dika is trying to push him. He knows he's got him in the corner, just behind the wood barrels. And there you go. A Kobe nade right there on the Disco takes him out. Manice also grabs the bomb right out of Freddie B's hand. Takes him out with the op. He's got the Deagle to play close range too if they try to push him. So there's not a winning situation against Manice right now. But regardless, Ancient continue to try to push it. Manice now with full control, going to try to get aggressive. But Rusty, what a trade. Finally gets Manice through the wall. It's short-lived though, of course, with Malz knocking him out just a second later. Draken all alone now in the 1v4. Take one more fight. This round's pretty much sold down the river already. And there you go. One final round picked up by Aristocracy as they do bring it back a bit at 6-9. We'll see if they can complete this and make it 9-9 at the start of the second half, or if Ancient's going to run it back right after this break. Stick with us, guys. Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. It's Aristocracy versus Ancient. We're in the middle of map number 1 of our second semi-final. Ancient putting up a great show on their T side, and now it's time to see if they can keep it going. As Aristocracy were starting to come alive a little bit more towards the end of their CT side. But still with only 6 rounds built up, it's going to be dangerous, especially if they don't start with a pistol. We're going to have just a straight-up hall duel to start things out here. Both teams biting into it as well. It ends up in a 3v3, but it's not over yet, as Ancient still have a few players ready to swing open the door. Aristocracy realize this, though, so they're going to back up, back away from the fight, as Rowland has made good progress in pushing into long.
Yeah, I mean, you spot such a heavy connector presence, right? You know that somewhere on the map, Ancient have had to give up some control. And Aristocracy, they push down through long, usually one of the more common avenues to give up on this map. And as a result, Rallen's gotten deep within the bomb site, and they don't know. Draken goes pushing in. Rallen will shut him down. Second man over him, back, think down, and Diha there to finish things off. Plopsky alone does have a kit to work with. No armor, however, and these Glocks get very, very lethal up close. Not that Plopsky would seem to care, as he does bring Rallen to his knees. Now the 1v2, and both players nearby. They're just playing by the numbers here. They're double peeking into him. They're not giving him any room to maneuver. Plopsky, what can he do? Trying to make the magic happen, but Diha shuts him down. Aristocracy, they will recover that pistol round. They find success. They find that empty long portion of the map, and they get the A bomb site and a round on the back of it.
So it's Aristocracy quickly finding a path back into it. As long as we don't have any little bumps show up here from their opponents, they're going to come pretty close to getting the tie now after closing out on that pistol. See how the next few rounds go. Most importantly, how Ancient's going to choose to invest as they go for the force buy into the second round. It's going to give them a couple of upgraded pistols. A scout on Draken. Mainly utility, though, is what they'll bring to the table. Try and immediately trade out this round and keep Aristocracy behind them.
I really like the decision to go for the buy here from Ancient. You know, they know that they've got a bit of breathing room. You've got some room to maneuver. Even if you lose this, the worst case is you let Aristocracy tie it up 9-9, but then you at least get to bring the AWPs out early. You get a lot more utility into that fourth round, and you have a chance to pick up a victory here in the second. We've seen these force buys look just so effective throughout this event thus far. I mean, now, with Aristocracy turning their attention down here towards the B bomb side, there are 3 players at this position, with a fourth now beginning to rotate in the form of Freddy B. This is looking like they might walk into a pretty stacked bomb site here.
Draken getting ready for the play. Actually misses it. A bunch of tiny heads running right past him. Ancient doing their best to hold on, but so far the only thing that's happened is a team kill. Rusty is going to change that up, as Manise also gets a nade frag against Plopsky, leaving only 3 alive for Aristocracy. 4 still up for Ancient. Very weird push from Aristocracy with the way that everything played out. And it's not even done just yet. They're trying to back away, change the game plan up a little bit. They still have the bomb just on the outside of Monster, but they've also rotated Manise. Trying to open up other options for the Disco. Doppler tries to go for that flank. He's going to get spotted out by Diha, taken down. So with that kill, it looks like they are going to end up recommitting to this site after all.
Yeah, I mean, their hands are kind of tied. 15 seconds left. This bomb's got to get into the bomb site and go down. And Rusty, he's just holding them back. Draken's here to help. Draken's found another. The scout's in his hand, and he's shutting down everything. They can't even plant the bomb. There's no time left. And Ancient, with the force buy in that second round, they're able to find it. Draken is looking sharp. Sharp as ever, and Aristocracy, they're going to be kicking themselves. That was their chance to get back into this and tie things up 9-9. There's that TK from Maus onto Rallen. Very unfortunate.
I think he was trying to get Draken in the back just over there by CT Cubby, but only ended up spamming right into his opponent. So, bit of a messy one there for Aristocracy, considering how it potentially could have started out. They had good positioning, they had a good jump into the site, good utility usage, but it all just fell apart so quickly. Got so messy after that team kill. It's going to cost them big time. It's going to cause them to use another pause here. We'll get right back into the match, though. It's almost over already. Let's see if Aristocracy can correct that quickly enough, or if that's the turn of the tape that we needed to see for the Swedes to jump right back into their lead. Now it's 7-10, right where we started the half off at.
Yeah, I mean, you can really tell in that round there. Aristocracy, they kind of realize the second they lose those early players that they've walked into this stacked bomb site, they've walked into the force, and there was that moment of hesitation where it almost looked like they wanted to try and clear out the connector and maybe even try and change things, but I think it was the realization that they just left it so late in the round that suddenly you have to commit to the push, you have to run the gauntlet into those pistols. This round, they're now going to try and do the dirty to Ancient. They've force-bought up themselves. Manise going to have the scout in hand. We've already seen Draken deliver the AWPer over on the side of Ancient. Now the question becomes, can Manise step up with the AWP's baby brother over here on the T side? They're stacking up outside of A. Disco Doppler will be here to try and hold it, but they've already lost Draken. He gets bested by that scout. Doppler holding nearby, but there are players already out through the toilets, and Diha going to pick him up. Now the rotation's coming in. They will at least get Manise deep within the bomb site. Freddy B doubling down, and they might have just saved this round.
Well, Plant still nowhere near alive here for Aristocracy as they have to force the issue onto the A site if this is indeed still going to be their intended destination. Looks like that's the case. They don't want to rotate back down. I think there's too much of a risk for someone to have been on a flank by that point. They just don't want to deal with that much risk. Still doesn't end up working out though. Diha, the first victim of the push onto the A site. Rowland trying to turn it around. Hyper-focused on the duel versus Freddy, but he still can't win it. So another round picked up by Ancient. They continue to push further into the lead now. 4 up over Aristocracy and only 5 away from closing out on the map itself.
I mean, what a journey that would be for this like ragtag Swedish squad who have just gone from strength to strength throughout this entire event. You know, constantly seeming like they were improving, constantly grinding these victories out. And now, I mean, I think the only person who picked Ancient to win was Tom over on the desk. So they're looking to try and prove a lot of people wrong here are the Swedes.
Great early round nade damage coming in for Ancient as they go for the aggressive push towards Fountain. And they're getting closer and closer to proving everyone wrong now. At least in terms of this map. Aristocracy, of course, a light buy into this one. So we don't expect too much to come from them. Just a couple of P250 buys, and that's pretty much it. Draken already picking off one of them, and the other's very, very close to death here. Aristocracy trying to shape up for something. They've got the boost up to try and find Disco Doppelin. They get that at a minimum. 1 kill found in their direction. Unfortunately, they can't swing inside the bathrooms to pick up his dropped gun. It's a bit too risky. Gonna try it now, though.
Yeah, they certainly seem curious, don't they? But even if they manage to get it, it's just the UMP, no armor on these players. Freddy's wrapped around. Ooh, he should have been able to do something there, should have Freddy, but Mouse has picked him up regardless and now has the AUG in hand. Still only 9 points of health. It surprised me that he was able to get 1 kill with this. And surely now this position of Plopsky should catch him off guard, and indeed it will. Ancient up 12-7. Aristocracy, they're going to have their first buy here. Since obviously winning that pistol and getting one over in the second that they did then lose to the force buy of Ancient, they will have rifles out across the board. And one of the things I would like to see from Aristocracy is maybe a bit more focus over towards this long portion of the map. We've noticed that Ancient have kind of been neglecting this side of the map. We've already seen Rowland push down there in the pistol round. So we might elect to see a bit more mid and long control here from Aristocracy. B hasn't really been their friend whenever they've attempted it. This time, however, there is a man posted up over at long. That will be Draken on the AWP, so maybe not the easiest time in the world if they did decide to head towards this area now.
Because while having to kind of dive quickly up the stairs and connector, after getting a little bit of pressure thrown his way on the grenade inside of the doorway there. Ancient not actually pushing it, however, just using the HE to bust open the door. And it seems to have funneled Aristocracy at a minimum into going for another A push, where Draken, he's fallen back from long. It's, again, very light control over long. Disco Doppelin just kind of face jumping it right now in order to check to see if there is going to be a push here. Not seeing any sign of execution. Ancient, certainly, despite the aggression we've seen from them, not able to play into any intel, but also not losing any lives from it, so 0-sum game being played by them at this point. As long as they can hold back the execute, which they do have a lot of players on A ready to stem the tide against. You can even see utility ready to counter any type of a push. They're still going to be in good shape. Great nade on Diha. That's going to certainly stem the push as it begins here. Freddy B catching one. Disco Doppelin also wrapping out. Picks up another frag. And Aristocracy, yeah, just try to throw everything at the site and it doesn't work. However, Manise somehow got all the way into bank.
Yeah, how's he managed this? Maybe something's doable, Manise! Where's this come from? 4 kills! My word! Mao's now left in the 1v1, and somehow, some way, Aristocracy, they'll pick up an 8th. Manise, the sneaky man down in the back, emerging from the bank stabber, as he comes around from behind. My word, look at this! How does he get there? How does he follow up? These two, fair enough, but that one's ridiculous. This one's even better. Oh, they owe so much to that man. But what a performance to salvage an 8th round for Aristocracy and reset the economy of Ancient. Such a pivotal moment for the Poles. And maybe now there's a chance for them in this map.
Ancient don't even realize what happened. One of the cameras right there, one of them shrugging. Just trying to figure out what exactly happened. We've got a 3-man boost up behind CT wall. Manise, along with a few of the other members of Aristocracy, going to be pushing into the connector. The triple stack is not going to lead into a whole lot here, unfortunately, as Aristocracy have avoided it entirely. They're working their way back up towards A again. The stack from the two players from Ancient that aren't here are going to have to catch them in backroom connector. Dika ready for this play, though. Draken also getting run over. And that right there is pretty much the route. Man, they are really committed to this triple stack, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I blame them, right? Because maybe at some point someone's going to go running in through short. They're certainly not going to be checking for that. I think Ancient know that there's no hope for them in this round. And there wasn't really any hope for them in this round to begin with. This will be the 9th for Aristocracy. So that gap that Ancient have still there, but it is slowly closing. There's going to be just 3 rounds between these two teams. And, you know, now being over on the CT side, they can kind of be bullied into that same situation that Aristocracy were in the first half, where you are just kind of in these situations where you buy, then you lose the round, then you have to save or partially invest. And you do just kind of get caught in this trap, in this vicious cycle of going back and forth and never really having everything you need. Obviously, it's kind of been lessened now with the economy changes that have come in, but you know, you can definitely still have these moments in games. As we kind of prefix this round with, that will be the 9th for the Polish T side, but buyback on the horizon for Ancient, and that AWP will be in the hands of Draken.
It's a solid round for Aristocracy. Clean one at that, too. They avoid Ancient tripping them up at any point into here. So with that, they're going to be getting a good amount of money build up, and you can see the rebuys are going to be pretty minimal. Only about $1,000 or so being spent by each player. It's going to keep a good amount in reserves, but also after the save from Ancient, they are right back into it with a full buy themselves. This means they can try to get aggressive once again. Draken, though, is going to get a face full of frags. He's brought down to 65 HP. One blows up literally right in his face. Plopsky also getting tagged pretty heavily, too. Another nade from him. It's going to bring 2 members of Ancient down really low, right before the action even gets started.
And I mean, yeah, we were kind of alluding to how confidence-based, in a way, both of these teams are. Ancient, they've had that resilience, but it does first require that ball to get rolling. Aristocracy, it's more of you know, when they're playing well, when they believe, that's where they're most deadly. When they do start to fall behind, they're a team that can fall off quite a lot, right? The fact that you just have such a big round come in from the Polish side, now maybe we're going to see some confidence instilled back in them once again. This round, they just head straight towards the A-bomb site. Draken does lie in wait, and he does have this AWP in hand, as we touched upon at the start of the round. He doesn't have armor behind it, however. So these UMPs, these rifles could look to do some damage. However, the first kill comes through, and Diha will offer himself up on a silver platter. Still nothing in the way of rotations here to help out the man in the A-bomb site. And now, with Maus raising some attention, firing off the alarms down towards B, it's kept those players there, and the bomb's gone down inside of this A-bomb site.
Rowland with the next pickup here. Evens out the manpower between both teams and puts us into a 3v3. Solid hold for Aristocracy, and Ancient taking a long time to recommit back into the site as well. That's going to cost them, both in timing and really freedom to execute back onto this site. Rowland doing a great job. All he's doing is sitting here, too. The nade finally takes him out, but Ancient don't really have time to play around anymore. They've got to force the issue, and it's not such an easy task. They tap onto the bomb. Manise has already picked off 2 of them. Well, Rusty's going to get one more pick on Taz. The round's over. He's got no time left to work it back. He's got to let Manise stay alive. Aristocracy, number 10. Now they're starting to make some real progress here. The half started out with a 3-round advantage over to Ancient, and now it's grown down to only 2.
And this is worrying for me. I mean, you can tell that Manise has started to hit this mode where he's not messing around anymore. You know, he's not content with a semi-final finish for the Polish squad. No, he wants that grand final spot. They've got eyes on the prize. And Manise is trying to haul them across the finish line. Tactical pause called in for Ancient. They're first in this map thus far. And that's largely, you know, very, very kind of reflective of how this one's panned out. It has just been Ancient in the lead almost entirely throughout this entire map. So they haven't really felt this pressure yet. And something I've been commending them for time and time again is that resilience, is the ability to grind these wins out. However, that's usually been with their backs against the wall to begin with. This is a situation now where they had the lead. Things were looking good. It looked like this was going to be their map, and a very convincing one at that. And now it's Aristocracy playing catch-up and slowly but surely closing that gap.
Well, considering their history, we don't want to count them out just yet, even looking back as early as yesterday. Nice aggression down in the connector. Again, though, short-lived. Only a 1-for-1 exchange in the grand scheme of things, and Ancient need more than that if they want to hope to upset on this round. The aggressive push against the tunnel, sending all 3 players, and not a single one of them gets dropped. Disco and Draken find 2 more pickups, and it's down to only Mouse and Rowland now for Aristocracy. Oh, Mouse just missed a chance for a free trade against Plopsky. Very unfortunate. Highly doubt Plopsky's going to peek it again, and it would be a very bad idea for Mouse to peek it with the bomb in hand.
Yeah, I guess that's like the one silver lining for Aristocracy is, okay, yeah, you've lost a lot of players down in Connector, but at least you've still got this bomb on the back of Mouse. You still have the ability to make Ancient be the ones under pressure. If the bomb's dropped down in Connector here, Aristocracy, they're pretty screwed. But the fact that they're allowed to get into a bomb site, they can now force Ancient out of this position and just sit back, wait patiently for the kills to come to them. They'll start to clear out the A bomb site. They leave Mouse to do it single-handedly, and Rowland holding close. Is Draken going to check this? No, he will not. So AWP found and AWP dropped. Mouse alone in the bomb site. That's a bit risky because there is a man over towards Bank in the form of Freddie B. Now creeping forward. Molotov will keep him at bay for the time being. These 2 rifles that have been retrieved, it now falls to them. Plopsky and Disco Doppler. What can they do in the 2v2?
Let's go Doppler. Trying to work his way back in. The problem is Rowland already has the advanced position on the inside of bathrooms. Doppler saw it though, but it didn't matter. Rowland still ends up winning a fight. Plopsky's so low, but he's found the first kill clean. Smoke as well to try and delay things a bit further. He's going to drop it right up on top of the bomb. Tries to move in to start the defuse. Rowland saw him though. Knows he's going to be hiding on the inside, but Plopsky gets the kill. It doesn't matter though. Time is up. Aristocracy will still take it. And now they'll stay only 1 more round away from tying this up at 12-all.
I mean, you know, while that's like a testament in and of itself, the fact that Aristocracy have pulled this back, made it so close, let's not forget, that was just pistols around 1 rifle over on the side of Ancient. The fact it comes down to a 1v1, and then you find all the kills. You kill everyone on Aristocracy, you keep an AWP forward as well. That is a phenomenal round from the Swedes, regardless of the outcome. And it's left them in a spot now where, I mean, for both teams, whoever picks this up, this is such a swing round in this game because neither team has money. They're both fully invested. They both suck pretty much everything they've got into this round. And so if you pick this one up, you know, you've wrecked the opponent's economy looking to the future. And this late on in the game, round 24, 11-12 scoreline, that can make all the difference. And so neither player in this round, neither team, sorry, wants to be the first man to fall. They're all being so cautious. And you understand why. Rowland slowly but surely meandering his way in through mid, clearing all these angles very methodically so. Bit of a foothold gained, but Aristocracy will just hold their ground for the time being.
Rest of the team in the meanwhile, still taking their time about things as well. Nice spot from Manise, but he doesn't land the shot. That's Disco Doppler going to be able to escape. Was ready to throw it on a smoke too, but had better judgment and hold this back for a couple of extra seconds. As he realized Aristocracy would not have been able to make that push so quickly. The rest of them still trying to work their way up short too, so with only 30 seconds left, Aristocracy, we need to see them commit soon. And it's going to have to be onto the A site. Ancient don't necessarily know this is happening yet, so he's still only got to do about a 2 to 3 man hold from Ancient. The rest of the team needs to rotate back up. But Disco Doppler, in good position, finds the first 2 kills. That's the bomb going down as well. And now they're stunted.
And we're just 10 seconds left. They've got to get this bomb planted. Draken's dropped it out in the open. There's no time. Manise, in spite of his best efforts, he cannot win this round. And Ancient, they dig deep. They find a 13th. And leading into this, we were emphasizing the importance of this round. Well, now we're going to see the ramifications of that more than ever. I mean, I can't imagine what Aristocracy are going to have to do in this situation. You know, if you take an eco here to make sure you have a full buy coming up, then you're essentially conceding that 14-11 scoreline. You are giving yourself so little room for error. The flip side to it is, though, you go for a force buy, you don't have everything you need, you don't have everything you want. You're kind of hamstrung to just have to play reactively to how Ancient, or you know, off of just one call from the very early stage, you know, just go for a set piece. Taz's head is in his hands. That's never a good sign. I don't think that's because he's by any means disappointed with how things have looked so far. I think it's just because he knows how important that round was. And the effect that might have just had on the entire outcome of this game. You know, the fact that you've just fought so hard, you've bought the last 4 rounds back in your favor, you've closed the gap, and now this is your buy to try and keep that streak up.
See, it's not a very good one. 4 CZs and a single AK on Rowland. Not a whole lot of chatting going on as well over the course of that pause, so a little bit solemn right now on the Aristocracy side of things. Ancient, meanwhile, they just continue to struggle along with the lead still in their favor. You know how dominant they were at the beginning of this map. It's no longer the case. Aristocracy is putting up a much more even fight now. But as long as Ancient can trade out these rounds, they will still eventually take control of Overpass here, putting themselves ahead. And I'll take us over to kind of the danger zone when it comes to Ancient, which will be on Train, a map that Aristocracy's had some really great results on this map. 2, 3, now 4. Oh my God! Ancient absolutely destroy the push from Aristocracy, and there's the 14th round for the Swedes.
I mean, that now, if you're Aristocracy, that's just gut-wrenching, right? You went for that force buy. You're at least hoping to get it into a doable situation, find some damage. Not only do you not get the bomb down, you don't get a single kill. You all just get turned to mincemeat in the site push. You would have just wished that you only had P250s invested in that one. You wouldn't even tell that there was an investment there from Aristocracy based on how that round plays out. And now they've got nothing in this one. This should be Ancient reaching map point here on their map pick if all goes according to plan.
Now, you were talking about being worried about conceding the 14-11. Now they have to concede the 15-11. It's going to be an even bigger issue now. Freddie B already starting out with 1, but walks right into Taz, giving him a free AK to play with here. Rusty, though, found Mouse, so still a man advantage to Ancient. As Aristocracy try to get themselves together for a quick push out onto the A site. Rowland getting dropped down incredibly low by Draken. Still going to be pushed back into the bank, though, so... Oh, Dika, what a shot, but Disco Toplin with the lineup. Finds 2 to trade back. Taz, of course, will prioritize the plan over the kills. Confirms the extra income at a very minimum. Now has to play the 1v3. They're not going to give him a whole lot of free time to do this.
Yeah, doesn't have armor either, and as he tries to reposition it, it's this player down in mid that looks to solidify the round. Disco Doppler will snatch it away, though. And map point for Ancient on their map pick, 15-11. They've got 4 rounds worth of wiggle room to play with here. 4 chances to try and close this map out. Aristocracy, at least they're able to get the bomb down there. Taz does do a very valiant job in that fact, you know, getting himself into the bomb site, finding that AK earlier on in connector and actually retrieving the bomb in the first place. Does go above and beyond just to supplement his team's bank accounts that much more. He's padded the money, but can they pad up the stats? They're going to need to. 4 rounds separate them from Ancient and this comeback, and Ancient very much in the driver's seat right now. Last buy on the cards for Aristocracy, and already Disco Dopplin's dropped the bomb over in mid. A heartbreaking start to this round, and that nade follows up with even more damage. Aristocracy, a man down, the walking wounded, bomb drop down in mid. What can they do to try and stay afloat?
Almost 100 damage on that nade right there. Manise peeking right into Disco Doplin. Doesn't bode too well either. Ancient yet to take a single point of damage. These have been clear-cut duels so far, and it's going to continue to remain that case. Taz, the only man left alive, finally gets a frag for his team in this round. He's not going to be able to keep it going further than that.